Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that's friendlier than your neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm your host Chad.
I'm your host Rob. Like always, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, push the buttons that are somewhere around us at this moment in time.
Push our buttons. And you can also check out our website, www.epicgeekout.com.
Like us on Facebook.
We also have Twitter.
We got it all.
At Epic Geek Out Twitter. Also, you can send in any emails to fans@epicgeekout.com. Let us know what you want to see, what you want us to talk about, because we're looking for stuff to talk about. I mean, the summer's jam-packed, but once the summer's done, we're going to be screwed for content, so we need your help. So hit us up over there. But let's get into our review today. We're going to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man video game. So today we're talking about the new Amazing Spider-Man video game, movie tie-in video game from Activision. It basically is like all the other movie tie-in video games, all the other Spider-Man video games. Follows sort of the storyline of the movie, actually takes place after the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't play the game because it ruins pretty much everything.
That was going to be the first thing I was going to say. I started playing and just got through like a little bit of a walkthrough part before we went and saw the movie. If I played 5 more minutes more, I would have been livid.
They even spoil like the first thing. Like that kind of spoils what happens at the end of the movie.
Livid.
But yeah, it's a video game based on the Amazing Spider-Man movie that has just come out. Well, I mean, there's not much to say about the combat. It's sort of similar to the other Spider-Man games. You're web-slinging, you're fighting. There are some differences, which we will talk about. So what did you think of it?
Game I really thought it was similar to is Arkham City or, the Batman.
The combat was identical, yeah.
Batman games that came out, which it kind of makes a little more sense. Like in the Batman game, you do a lot of grappling, so it's a lot of quick time action quick time action, but like you're going from one thing fast, which makes a lot more sense with Spider-Man because he has the web slingers. But the action doesn't do it as well as the Batman game. The Batman game is worlds better than this. I found in this game I was hitting X and I was just being able to beat everything just by hitting X, and like that just got tiresome. And some of the moves he would do where he would kick a dude up in the air, he would web blast them up and he would be stuck on the ceiling. The guy wasn't dead, but he was incapacitated, couldn't get you. Things like that were really cool. Again, I do want to touch on the fact that it does follow the movie and is spoiler ridden, and it's ridiculous. I didn't get to the point, but Bruce Campbell does a voice in it too, which I thought was really cool. I saw that on the IMDb page. But it tried to achieve a lot, but I don't think it got to the point where it achieved it. The stakes might not have been high enough for it, and it just didn't feel like it mattered, I guess. So yeah, it was okay. I enjoyed my time with it, but it certainly didn't I bought Arkham City and I couldn't put it down once I started playing with it. That storyline punched me in the gut, held on, and I wanted to keep playing. It had Arkham City had a beautiful opening where this opening was you're walking around, you're in Oscorp, it's blah, 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 blah. It had a long drawn out, and I didn't want to skip it because I wanted to see the story because I enjoyed the story so much. And again, comparing, it sucks, but it was definitely inferior to the Arkham game, and it was very similar. They had the open map structure where you could go and stop a random mugging and earn XP, and you build up your strength and then your tech and stuff like that, just like in the other game. It was a very similar game, but I had no we rented it, so I have no reason to go out and buy it. It didn't grab me like that. So I was excited for this game. I saw a little bit of footage from it from PAX East, I think, earlier in January, February time period, and a lot of things looked really promising. Unfortunately, I think it fell victim to what I feel like a lot of these games have a problem with is deadlines for the movie. They obviously had to push it out for the movie. So, hands down, they had a deadline. They probably could have been a better game with more time, as any game I'm sure would be. But a lot of weird stuff going on that, a lot of buggy things for me on the Xbox, which is what we played it on, and just a lot of weird things. The storyline
was interesting seeing the movie. It was followed after that, but the characters' voicing was awful. It didn't even look like any of the people from the movie, so I didn't get that. I was like, it's not. Obviously, it's not going to be those people, but it didn't even sound remotely like them. It didn't even look like Gwen Stacy.
Mark Hamill voiced the Joker in that.
Yeah, but it just wasn't that quality. You could tell they were trying to cut corners a little bit, make some money off of it, just going off the movie. So that was bad. Spider-Man 2, I really liked the game. The Spider-Man 2 game was open world. They put a lot. It was kind of a new thing. Your web slinging
for a superhero game too. Yeah,
the web slinging in this was completely on rails, in my opinion. It was not.
They had the retreat.
There was times when that was cool. There was times when you would just fling up in the air. There was clearly no building around you, and you're hanging. I'm like, what am I hanging
Or
from?
you could hit the right,
which happened.
Not
a
the
little bit
right
in
trigger,
Spider-Man
but
2,
the right button, the top one.
Yeah, and slow everything down.
When I was fighting the first big robot thing, it shot straight up, pulled me straight up in the air, like I grabbed onto a satellite. It made no sense. Whatever. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like oddly enough, I feel similar about the game that I felt about the movie. It was a mixed bag for me. There were some times I had a lot of fun with the game. Some of the combat I was doing a little bit countering with the Y button, and it made more sense to me than the Batman because the Spidey sense thing would ding on their heads, which it does in the Batman game, but it made more sense.
Forgot to mention about that in the movie. How he had Spidey sense.
Oh, yeah.
Completely forgot.
He did.
Damn it.
That's all right. So a lot of that cool stuff was going on. A lot of the moves, I was like, oh, that's really interesting, cool way to do it. And you get the signature move thing where you like blast all the crazy stuff. So that was cool. I had fun with it, but at the same time, it's not a quality, polished game. They definitely rushed it out for the movie.
And that stuff is cool, but we didn't.
Unfortunately, that was
it. Got old. Like, you see, I mean, it was the same thing. It was the same.
Yeah, exactly. And we had we did play it, but we, like you said, we rented it, so we were kind of on a timeline to just do for the review. So I'm sure it doesn't hold the lasting value of once you beat it, and there's not really a reason to go back and replay. So that's that. Unfortunately, I didn't really do any of the side missions. Did you?
I helped the people out because I figured it was on the way. I wanted to see what that was like. You killed one dude and you got the blade in your purse back. Yeah, so it wasn't even anything interesting. So no, it wasn't.
And a lot of disorientation too. Like I would fling and get on the wall, and then I'm crawling around. I'm like, oh,
you're and I forgot that. I felt like I wanted to vomit. And there has never been. No, I'm serious. Like there's never been a video game that has made me feel sick. I might get motion sick. I get motion sick when I'm on a boat, like that's stopping fishing for 6 hours. Yeah, mother. But not like it's not like I get motion sick easily. This game was horrific. When you're crawling in the vents, you might hit a button and you're like, oh no, which way am I facing? What happened here? And then when you would go from a side of a wall to the ceiling, the camera got so screwed up. You didn't have control over your view. You had a limited view of like this to where you could go, and you need to reorientate yourself. And that was horrific. And I was so disjointed by that. Yeah. That's actually when I texted you and I was like, do you want the game? Because that's what made me sick of it, because I didn't feel like playing anymore. And that, I think, says a lot for a video game to take you out of it so much.
I wasn't necessarily sickened by it, like motion-wise, but there was time, like the second big level, you're in a prison and it's corridors, tiny corridors, and I'd end up on the wall, and then like I couldn't get off the wall. Like I didn't know how to. I'm sure there's a button, I couldn't figure it out how to like dismount from the wall, but I would like climb up.
You jump to another section, or
be on the ceiling, or I jump over and be on this ceiling, and that just for me it just broke the game because you couldn't get to where you even wanted to get to. And it's like Spider-Man wouldn't.
And what you said, like that is why I wouldn't recommend this game to someone. Like that alone really, really hurt it for me.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation: go to GameStop. And hopefully they have it out as one of their demo games and play it for 10 minutes.
Vomit in GameStop and then leave because they can clean it up.
Well, you could do that.
Sorry,
I think to just play with the action, kind of get a feel for it. You might really like it. I liked it. I had fun with it, but it's not a game I would buy.
I'm actually really curious how it would be for the Wii, and I'm sure it wouldn't be good. But
it'd be kind of fun to sling.
If you could actually do the Spider-Man thing, but the Kinect would be cool. Once video games get to that level where they could actually make it cool and it's not a gimmick, that'll be great. But
so Amazing Spider-Man, I'd say just another movie video game.
It made me sick,
unfortunately.
Literally. So this concludes another one of our famous theme
weeks.
weeks. We will be having another one coming up later this month to celebrate the last big opening of the summer, in my opinion.
Last big superhero movie.
Batman. So
obviously.
Look for that. But like always, we want to give our thanks. So Chad, what are you thankful for today?
Today I'm going to give a little shout out to G4, which is a channel on the television. G4 is awesome. They have Attack of the Show, which is a
4
great
shows.
Well, yeah, I mean it is, but they have awesome news shows for geeks, which you should know about. I'm sure you do, but that's awesome. They also do a lot of coverage. Next week will be Comic-Con. Well, actually, when you're watching this, they do their awesome Comic-Con coverage.
Great, yeah.
They do E3 coverage. They do a lot of really great coverage.
They're the only network
events.
That's allowed on the floor and
for Comic-Con
on like live on the floor.
That's awesome. They do a great job with that. So G4 is awesome. They show awesome movies on there. It's basically Geek Central. There's a lot of Ninja Warrior, which I like in doses, but it gets a little much at times. But check it out if you haven't. G4 TV. I think most network or most cable providers carry it, but it might be just if you have the digital because it's in the higher channels. But
I'm just happy they didn't film Campus Police when we went to college because
true. I do love that show too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, G4, thank you. So what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for a person that would hate actually what we're doing with this show,
Nice.
But Kevin Smith.
He does.
I think he's a great director. I've enjoyed pretty much all of his movies that I've seen to different levels, but I think he has a voice. Clerks is just brilliant.
It's from Jersey.
So I recently just got done reading his book, and in his book I realized that he absolutely hates people who reviews things. So sorry about that.
Except he's now doing a review show, isn't he?
Yeah, but his whole take, it's called Spoilers. It's on Hulu Plus, which I haven't got to see because it's on the Plus part of it. But the whole thing is they go to see a movie before any critics say anything, so their minds are open, and he brings just normal people, which I actually signed us up to get on that show, but haven't heard back. But again, I appreciate what he's done for movies. His book was it was a tell-all, and it was really honest, which I appreciated. Definitely gave his side of things, which I'm sure there are other sides to it, but gave a good basis of what the movie industry is like. And again, we're on the East Coast. We have literally nothing to do with LA or the behind the scenes crap that goes on in movies, but just hearing him tell it, even if it was 50% truthful without exaggeration, it kind of is shit and kind of just opens your eyes up to things like that. So
it's a business.
I forget what the book is. Put it up behind me if you don't mind. Got it from the library, read it. It was a good read. So enjoyed his movies. So as a reviewer, Mr. Smith, I would like to thank you.
Nice. So that's it for this week of programming. But we'll be back next week, don't you worry, with another episode of Epic Geek Out.
2 more episodes of Epic Geek Out.
2 more next week. So thanks again for watching, but we'll see you next week.